Yo, what up? Lazy day.
Remember when I said figuring out the angle is tricky?
So this is the only thing I don't have intuition for. Right here is I converted um, this movement here for the AI to be a distance and then the angle. The distance works fine, but the angle I don't have the best intuition. So like I base the angle based on radians, and radian starts on the right and then it goes counterclockwise, and that works well and good. If I just cycle through this slider, you can see that that works, and that works well. It's consistent, it's reliable. But the problem is if I were to expand this distance out, right, and I take the angle to 0, well, now the radiance doesn't start on the right side. My nails are so dirty. They start on the left side. And if I were to cycle through that slider, you see that it goes from left to right, which I don't have a lot of intuition on. I'm not entirely sure if having the positioning of the angle flipping almost like that, if that will be detrimental when we hand it off to the AI to start learning. I don't know. I think that it's possible for it to like correlate some variable with that angle to know that it's flipped. Therefore, 0 now means left instead of right, like it usually does, and 1 means right. I guess 1 is always equal to right. Okay, hold on. Let me think about something else. Okay, so another possible solution is instead of one slider for angle, it can be two sliders, X angle, Y angle, right? Follow me here. And then it predicts an X and Y angle that it should go to. And then I simply just adjust based on the X and Y, right? So, okay, yeah. So what I could do is instead of a single angle slider, I could have it output a 0 through 1 sigmoid for X and Y, and then I can convert that X and Y into radians. So then it makes a prediction, like if it wants to be up top here, I'm sorry, let me start here. If it wants to be right here to the right, then it would output, what is that? Y 0, X negative 1. But if it wanted to be on the top, but it doesn't exist, then what we would do is take that and then figure out what is the closest to that point and then choose that instead. So like top radiance position doesn't exist here. And so either one of these two, they're going to be about equivalent. So then we'll just choose whatever the first one is, because I think that constants is key. Choose that, and then it'll move there. And then if it wants to do it again, then maybe you'll have the ability to do it on the next time. I don't know. But that is a different alternative. Am I going to go with that? I don't know. I need to still think about that some more. When doing this neural network stuff, there's so much to think about. And I don't know. I think that's part of the reason why I like it so much is that it's challenging. And, arguably, some could argue that, like, it's to my detriment to stay in like hypothesis land, but I think that there's a huge benefit. You can save a lot of time if you just you know test as much as possible before implementing the AI, sketch it out on paper, go through some math proofs and all that stuff before actually doing the neural network stuff, because once you get in there, I've said this many times. Once you start writing the neural networks, you can lose so many hours on training time. You can run a training algorithm for 2 days and not see any improvement, and you might just be like, oh well, it's because it's not training long enough, and you just lost 2 days when you realize that like after 48 hours it still doesn't converge to anything useful. So I find a lot of value in staying in like hypothesis land and going through a lot of math proofs and really making everything make sense before starting neural network stuff, but that might just be me. Okay, so lastly, I just want to leave you with this last idea I had of changing it to be this starting 0, it also equals 1, so it's like full resolution. So if I take this slider all the way to 1, it'll loop back around, right? Which is how true radiance works. A full revolution will bring you back to 0. Um, So that would mean that, let's see here real quick, new, capture this. So this would mean that this spot would be 0, this spot here would be 0.5, this spot would be also 1, so and 1, and then this would be 0.25, and this would be 0.75. So then it would be the job of the neural network to learn that any value between 0 and 0.5 is the top, and then any value between 0.5 and 0 or 1 will be, well, that's not true. I'm sorry. Any value between 0.5 and 1 is going to be the bottom. So I think it's possible for it to learn this correlation. But again, the problem is reintroduced when I go here and make a bigger distance where there's nothing on the top. It reassigns 0 back to the left side, which is like a bit of a flipping on how it works. Otherwise, and I don't know. I don't have any intuition if this is like detrimental or not. And so I'm currently thinking of just going to the idea of passing in X and Y, and it makes a prediction, and I convert that into radians. And so if it says that it wants to go up here, for example, where there is no space, I'm just going to be like, all right, well, the closest to that is this spot, so go to that location. I don't know. I can see some scenarios where that isn't like the best idea, but I think overall it should be fine. I don't know. Well, oh,